What is up, everybody? This is O-Artistry here, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links, where today we have a lot of ground to cover because we have major updates. Now, obviously, as we know, there's the upcoming updates, and I'm a little late on that, but there's a reason why, because I wanted to hold off until we were 100% sure what was going to go down. Now that we do, we have a lot of info, and we got a lot of stuff to cover. So first of all, in early September, we have the Fateful Synchro Dimension. So obviously, initially, you could think that that was good old 5Ds, but Fateful Synchro Dimension sounds more like Arc 5, so I think this is going to be an Arc 5 kind of era event, which will be interesting, because it's like, what does that mean for characters like Jack and Crow, who are the different Jacks and Crows? So that's going to be really interesting, and we're going to go find out about that. But yep, we've got Duelist Road, so we're going to find out what's going to happen in the story there. We have in late September the return of Yugioh, who will then be the last kind of character. If you haven't already got her, then Tiger is the last character before the major update. But if you haven't got Yuka, then she's the last character. So, as we know, there's a massive update coming, and nobody really knew what it was. Was it a new world? Was it just alternative characters? But thanks to the Worlds in Paris, we now have official confirmation that it's going to be a Duel Monsters, either a rework or a world. I'm thinking more likely a world, because they've shown a different attempt. He's different in terms of his design, which I find quite fascinating, actually, because this redesign kind of, especially the eyes are red. Now, one thing you'll notice, and we will cover the rest of the upcoming updates, but there's one thing I wanted to show first before we got into it. As you can see here, the attempt that we have for in the manga world, he's kind of got this reddish purpley eyes, but predominantly it's purple. The only time it's ever really been red was in Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, so I thought that was actually a nice little bit of tidbit. The other thing is that he's not wearing his traditional cape in the promo stuff, but also like the school uniform anyways, the jacket. He's just wearing the vest. He's got kind of like a slightly different, I would say, necklace. That's a little bit of a redesign. I'm just going to have a quick little look at the screenshots that I took. Obviously, they'll be also on the screen here, but we're going to have a little look at it once again ourselves. So I'm just going to open it up on, because I shared it with basically our Discord, so it's very exciting stuff. Yeah, so basically he's still kind of got the necklace kind of thing, the choker, but as you can see, he's got different kind of like armbands. Basically they're kind of like a little bit spiked, and one is gold and the other is silver, while both of them on a Thames is silver. So we're gonna have a little look at that, because what we can do here after we choose the character is go to the home page. So as you can see, they're both kind of like a silvery look. Let's see if there's like any other better pictures of it. So this will be a better one. So as you can see, they kind of have this kind of look. So he's not got the cape, but he's still got the trousers. He's still got like the belts, but he's also got like these extra chains on his wrists. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they do with that. But as you can also see in this picture, it's got Noah and Dartz in the background. So I think that's also quite interesting, that it's Noah and Dartz, which means that it's an anime exclusive world, as we've already discussed. Now, does that mean, actually we'll stay on here for now, does that mean that this world is going to change? Because from what I could see from the promotional pictures, it's got either Kaiba Land, or like in GX, they had the Kaiba Dome. So it's possible it could be the Kaiba Dome, not necessarily Kaiba Land, although it does kind of look like it's got potential, from what I can see, roller coasters. So I'm thinking more Kaiba Land itself, which means that Siegfried could come into the game. I think that would actually be really cool if Siegfried makes an appearance. you know, because we've had Valkyries for ages. I'm much more hyped if Siegfried comes than Dartz. Dartz is such a weird choice. I know people really want Dartz in the game, and they're really excited for Dartz, but personally, Dartz is like a character that I literally don't care about. In the story, he made no sense as a filler character. On top of all of that, he also pretty much was just not really that much of a threat in his cards in terms of actual real cards. So unless we're going to start importing a lot of fake cards, pretty much all he has is like 4 cards. That's it. The Seal of Orichalcos, the Divine Serpent. We've also got there's like a I can't remember his name. But I remember it looks like Shikuyamon from Digimon, and then there's also a track card which summoned the Mirror Knights or whatever. So that's pretty much the only characters that the only cards Dartz even has. And Noah's a cool character. I like the idea of Noah. I mean, that means we could get Gozobor and Kaiba with Exodia Necros as a summon animation. It means we could get Rebecca into the game. Vivian Wong could be a potential character. Siegfried, 100%. We've also got Leon, which would be really cool because we've got the Cinderella archetype and everything. So there's a good few potential characters. If Dartz is in the game, it means Raphael most likely will also be in the game because, yeah, Raphael's a perfectly good choice with Guardians. So, I mean, in terms of the, relevancy in the game, let's talk about that. In terms of their actual relevancy, I don't think they're that important. I mean, we're at the point now, when the game first started, when the game initially started, 100%, they should have been in the, if you were going to include them in the game, they should have done it sooner. The issue is obviously, we got links now. We're so far into the game, unless this is to do with the lore, then I'm not 100% sure. I mean, that's the thing that I'm going to find really interesting around this, is it's going to be the lore, because we've got the manga versions, and now we're going to have the anime versions. So, what's going to go down? Who's going to be unlockable characters? Is it going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh to start with Kaiba? Are they going to be initial characters like Taya? And then are we going to get Dartz and Noah? Or is this going to be a completely brand new world, anime exclusive, and are we not going to get those kind of characters? Are we instead going to have Dartz and Noah be the, for example, be the predominant characters, and they're like, hey, we're in this random world, but nobody knows who we are, why are we here? And I say that because obviously they are anime exclusive filler characters. They weren't in the manga, so who are these people? Who knows? Does this open up Yu-Gi-Oh! That's actually a very good question, and who knows? We don't know if that's going to necessarily be the case or not. I think it's actually going to be really interesting because Yu-Gi-Oh! R was the kind of side series that had the wicked avatar monsters, the wicked monsters and stuff. So yeah, they were a manga exclusive filler, and now we're getting anime exclusive characters. So how is it going to work? Who knows? Who knows how they're going to incorporate that yet? The other thing that we're going to talk about was they showed a new currency which was shown as crystals, and they do actually have some information on that now on Duel Links, so we're going to cover that. We're going to cover gems. I think it's quite interesting because what it shows is, instead of it being in-game purchases or whatever, it looks like what they're going to do is you use crystals then become the currency, and then you buy, effectively you're not buying stuff directly, you're buying crystals and using crystals to buy the stuff. I think we'll get used to it, but I'm not sure on the idea. So basically, as you can see here, we've got the before and we've got the after. So it'll be interesting to see how much crystals cost. So like, for example, how much do you get for crystals, and like, is, you know, so for example, if you spent a tenner, do you get like, I don't know, let's say 1,000 crystals? Does that mean then a playmat, for example, is like 500 crystals? So let's put that into perspective. That's why I bring this up. So basically, from the 10th of December, they're going to be introducing crystals, because as you can see here, it says, thank you for your continuous support of Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links. Duel Links terms of use will be revised from the date listed below, so the 10th of September. So due to the introduction of a virtual currency crystal, we will revise the terms of use. So the terms of use will be effective as of the 10th of September. Customers who have used the service after the effective date will be deemed to have agreed to the terms of use, retroactively from the effective date. So, additional provisions of cases where payment of consideration cannot be confirmed, addition of provisions upon amended of these terms, and the adjustments of provisions regarding consent of minor users, and addition of provisions regarding in-game currency. Yeah, because obviously the Yu-Gi-Oh itself is 6+, so obviously there could be people who are minors, you know, which means under the age of 18, or in America under the age of 21. So it's going to be, and obviously they gotta do something across the board for every country, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works. So this is pretty much the terms of, oh my word, yeah, we're not even going to read all that. It's like the terms of conditions. So we've got the terms of conditions of the before and the after. I mean, if you want to read that, go for it, but I'm not even going to bother reading that. But here we have the change of purchase method. Okay, so in order to improve the services and functionality of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, changes will be made to the purchase method. Instead of charging players to purchase items, the change will have players purchase in-game currency, crystals, that can then be used to purchase items. So items already purchased can still be used after the purchase method has been changed. Okay, so before, as it shows, was players would just buy stuff. So let's say you wanted to buy a playmat. Some playmats cost actual money, not gems. So you may spend, like, I don't know, $4.99 on a playmat, and we'll look into that, for example. And then, or if you wanted to buy extra packs, for example, it would be X amount of money, and then you may get a super range, things like that. So we'll cover all that while we're here. So players purchase crystals, then use these to purchase items. So effectively, it's kind of like this. Crystals is kind of like a weird middleman. It's kind of like, you know, in Pokemon Go, for example, you buy coins, or you get coins via, you know, battling in gyms. So what this will be is you're not directly spending money. So if you are a little low, they'll probably expect you to go, oh no, you need to buy gems, instead of just outright buying a product. So obviously it says from September 10th, but it does say that the schedule mentioned may be subject to change, because if when we all log in on the 10th, which obviously is only 9 days away, so looking at that is going to be next Wednesday, just for FYI. So crystals are an item you can purchase with money. They're used to purchase card packs, structure decks, accessories, etc. From now on, players will be able to purchase in-game items and services by using crystals they have purchased. So even after the payment method has been changed, you can still receive gems as rewards for events and campaigns and use them to purchase items. So the gem purchase menu content in the shop will not change. Yeah, so what they're saying is, if you want to buy, because obviously there's deals where you can get X amount of packs, which then could also include holos, or if you want to buy structure decks, or like I said, playmats, card sleeves, and so on. Probably also, you know, there's the in-game purchases of, actually there's a few things I've thought of that would be, how's that going to work? So there's the season pass, which I don't know if anybody uses. I've purchased it. I've never purchased it before. I probably never will intend to. But will that require you to use real money or gems? on top of that, there's also the getting extra like vagabond characters or people coming back in faster, the respawn rates you can spend real money on. So obviously we're still going to get gems. They're not ruining gems. I hope they don't ruin gems, because obviously I've got 9,600, and if that is the case, if that does ruin gems, I'm going to be a lot more frugal buying packs, let me tell you, because I am not spending a load on crystals to buy packs. You're out of your mind. You know, I'd rather just the free currency, thank you very much, which is gems. So it says you can still receive gems as rewards for events and campaigns and use them to purchase items, but what I'm hoping they don't do is all of a sudden make it less. So for example, like when you get to like near the high levels for characters, you can get up to like 200, 300, maybe even 500 gems or whatever. For example, if a box comes in, are we still going to get 500 gems? If they start skimping on gems, I'm going to be very upset. So as long as they keep gems, that's fine. So anyways, crystals. I think it's an interesting idea. Just don't mess up stuff, because at the moment everything is perfectly fine. So like, if you ruin this, you're gonna have more people complain. That's all I'm saying about the situation. Now, I personally got a whole load of fusion materials and no spell cards. That looks familiar in a Dragotail. Shouldn't be a problem now. I've corrected the deck. We've got 45 cards in there. We've got some extra good cards. It's going to be great. Oh, brother, we are not doing very well. We are not drawing the cards we need. Yeah, so let's talk about what I think about the new world coming in. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Personally, I would have preferred the OCG stories. That's just me. There's a whole branch of characters that we've never seen before. They're manga exclusive. I think it would have been really cool if we saw them maybe next year. Who knows? I mean, this is me. This is coming from me, the guy who is talking about the crossover every 2 minutes. Ah, brother, we're about to get some serious piercing hit over here. I think we may. Oh yeah, we're definitely dead. Look at that, we just immediately died. I mean, we didn't draw any of our fusion cards. Hey, we finally, through a loss, we finally got this monster. Oh my goodness, I only wanted one copy. I need the fusion more than anything, because I've got the monster card, but it's the fusion I'm missing. It's like, geez. So yeah, this does give hope for more characters, because I want them to run back GX, for example. I want to see all the Shadow Riders. There's, I mean, 5Ds is missing, you know, the Dark Signers. They've added some cards randomly of Earthbound Immortals, but not the characters themselves, which makes absolutely no sense to me. So, yeah, they need to really step their game up on that front. But yeah, hopefully we'll get like all the characters that we need. We'll hopefully get you know, some really good updates. It'll be really interesting. Obviously, I'm going to cover everything. I'm going to cover it all up, and it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what this will entail, but definitely 100% for the lore factor. The lore factor is what's important. Because you never know what we're gonna get with Duel Links, because I mean, the Marek one was real fascinating. They really stepped it up to the plate. I mean, I'm not really interested in the survey, but we're super close to the play mat, so we'll get like the next story and we'll get everything. But yeah, let me guys know what you think about this whole situation. Like, what are you, whoops-a-daisies, what are you thinking in terms of like what's gonna go down at this event? Like, how are you feeling about it? Are you excited? Are you nervous about crystals? You know, who, now that they've kind of opened up the anime world, who are you most excited to see? Siegfried is probably my #1 choice, but I mean, there's not a whole load of anime exclusive characters they can choose. There's probably like 5-6 characters, maybe, unless they start adding, like I said, unless they start throwing in characters like Valen, was it, or Callan? I can't remember. Who had like I can't even think of the archetype's name, but basically him and Joey had a fist fight, and they were just punching each other in the face. So like, you know, and his cards just don't exist. So it'd be interesting to see what they do realistically with that information. Like, are they going to be all of a sudden, you know, adding a whole load of characters who just, I don't know, like, I mean, it does open up, because if Noah's coming to the game, you've got the big 5. So the big 5 would be interesting. Are they going to be all one character, or are they going to be separate characters? So are we just going to have Lecter as a separate person, and is Gansley going to be a separate person, for example? Or are they all just going to be one character possessing Tristan, if I remember that right? You know, that'd be interesting to find out. In terms of like, yeah, just them going forward with characters, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But obviously, because there's a lot of characters who already exist in the manga, they're only going to be covering Waking the Dragons and Season 5. And a little bit of Season 3. There was Season 3 Part 1. There was Season 3 Part 1. Well, Part 2 technically. It was like a weird thing, because it was like right in the middle of the Battle City like finals, because they were all on the blimps, and all of a sudden Noah was like, actually, we interrupt this tournament for me wanting to take over the world. Yo, if we still not pull this playmat? Oh, it's literally the next item. Fair. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be curious how many characters they're going to throw in. There's not many they can choose, so I'm going to be super curious what they do with the world and how the characters themselves interact in said world. Like, you know, if for example Kaiba appears, because this is the thing, they say it's Kaiba, like, you know, Evil Marek, Bakura, they're all like, hey, if you want to blame someone, blame Kaiba for throwing all of, you know, for this. So clearly they have some sort of idea of where they want the story to go, and they want Kaiba to be the spearhead. I mean, it's technically true, because obviously in the Dark Side Dimensions, like manga, it was a one-shot, it was prior to the movie. He duels Sarah, and he obviously created Duel Links, but then is Kaiba some sort of weird, crazy overlord who, like, knows everything? Like, how does he know about rush duels, for example? Like, how does he know this exists? Like, or even after these events, like, up to 5Ds I can somewhat understand, but like Zexal and all sorts, I have no idea where they're going to go from there, and they've been hinting bits and pieces, but there's got to be more than one character who's like linking all these worlds together. It can't just be Kaiba. Kaiba may have had the initial idea, but like, there's gotta be something else. There's gotta be like some sort of, like, I don't know, like, I keep thinking there's like a villain of some sort, like, in the background, who's like some crazy overlord that they're gonna make as like some sort of exclusive villain to Duel Links, to come into the game. But I don't know how it's necessarily gonna work, so it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna find it all out. Anyways, so we've got, do you remember the day of the snowstorm? I do, because it's the day you decided to betray my trust. I remember. Okay, yeah, because they showed that they had this, like, okay, so they're looking for Luke. So they're gonna be searching for him. Okay, so some sort of promise, but you ditched me. I kept searching while you were drinking a hot cocoa. You said you'd be my friend forever, but it was all a lie. And a real friend wouldn't abandon me in a time of need. today. Interesting. Okay. So there's, because they said it was a misunderstanding, but she's not really denying the plausibility either. Like, so who knows? All right, we're gonna duel at level 50. We'll see what's going down. She's probably gonna have all her fusion monsters and just be super crazy powerful. But we'll give it a go. We'll see if we can kick her butt real quick on screen. Good luck, me. Thanks, me. Hopefully we don't break. Let's see what we get. That's not a bad hand, actually. Yeah, so she's got her fusion monsters. We'll see what we can do. Okay, I like the idea of having Clayman as a defensive monster, and we'll tribute our two 1500s. We also now have a boss monster. We got a wind attribute in our grave. And we got Spiral Geyser face down. The issue is I'd rather that be the barrier, but at least we can inflict an initial 400 damage. Okay, she's summoning a monster with 0 attack in attack mode. I'm a bit nervous. It's a double tribute. Trump Tiger is slightly higher than me because it can use its effect. And the Music Princess has 1600. It can lower my attack stats and get a boost. So it wasn't enough to get over my Clayman, so I'm glad I kept Clayman in defense mode. That was actually a really good call. Okay, now we got Summon Skull. We also got our boss monster, but our boss monster can't get over Summon Skull. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna summon Skull. We're gonna summon our 0 attack position monster. We're also gonna summon Bersertrix, and now we can also summon this, which is really good. So now we got our X-Head Cannon lookalike coming on board, which I find really funny. So let's get them on lock. Boom! There we go. And then we're going to set this card, and then we're going to just enter the battle phase. So obviously Summon Skull has to attack this. Only 200 difference in damage, but it's enough. And then we've still got Widespread Ruin, so if they try anything funny, as long as it's not a fusion monster, we'll be fine. Okay, so they've summoned a monster with 0 attack points in attack mode. They did set a track card, so I'm a bit nervous. Phantom Bind is a really good card. Let's get rid of another copy of this Music Princess, because she's not that good. Let's get out these 2100, so that'll be good. Okay, so now I think we may have game. I doubt we have game, but that's 2500. That allows them to summon a monster, so Horn Knights, only 500. Okay, so we want to aim for the 500. I think she ruined herself here. And then, yeah, because she summoned a lower monster, I think she just, it's like, congratulations, you outplayed yourself kind of situation. Who knows there. But yeah, definitely interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to finding out kind of like how this is going to go down with the rest of the world and everything. You know, I'm looking forward to it. I don't think there's an icon that you can get, which is kind of cool, but that's about it. Anyways, that's pretty much everything from me. That's my thoughts. I hope it made sense. Bottom line is, I'm curious to see how the new anime world's going to go. And then I'm also curious how the crystals is going to go. As long as they don't ruin crystals, it's fine. But we'll find out in 9 days. But yeah. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on all this. Like, what are you thinking of crystals? What are you thinking of the upcoming updates? Are you excited? Who are you most excited for? And, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Hit me up. But thank you all so much for watching, and please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, party on, peeps. Take care, guys. It was great to see you. We'll see you again in the next video. Bye.